This is the true story about the lady that took her own life in Osapa, London, Lagos on Friday the 27th of May 2022. And no, she did not take her life because she didn't have a husband and children, nor did she take her life because she wasn't having enough sex. Yes, she was depressed, but this is the major reason why she was depressed. It's much more deeper than what is being reported. For those who don't know the story, 45-year-old Afolake Abiola, chartered accountant to a big telecom company, ended her life on Friday the 27th of May 2022 while on leave from her job. She was a very well-paid woman who lived in one of the best neighborhoods in Lagos. She had her own money. She lived in a 3-bedroom flat. She had her own vehicle. She was financially well-to-do. But at 45, she wasn't married. She didn't have a child, nor was she in a relationship around the time she died. And because of the absence of these things, many people have assumed that that was the reason she ended her life, because she wasn't happy, she wasn't married, and she didn't have a child, or because she didn't have a man. But that is very far from the truth. Yes, she wasn't satisfied with her life. And yes, like her family confirmed, she suffered depression. Serious depression. But the thing with depression is it has to stem from something. If she was financially capable and she had her own money, she had her own house, she was good looking, before she ended her life, it was said she had ended 2 previous relationships. And the reason why it was said she ended the relationship was because she posted something on her Facebook around the notion of she can't bring someone into her life when she can't take care of herself. So if she had all this money and she had this apartment, she had a car, she lived in a good neighborhood, what would she have meant by saying she can't bring someone into her life when she can't take care of herself? Well, this is the truth according to Vanguard, who went to interview her neighbors and the security man in the compound she lived. Ms. Afolake's neighbors have confirmed that she suffered a mental disorder for the longest of time they had known her. They admitted that yes, she was very quiet and very reserved, she did not like noise, and that she lived alone in a 3-bedroom apartment. But they also observed that from time to time, she had a mental episode that made her act weird. Now, I am not a medical practitioner, so I would not know what the mental disorder was. But from my own point of view, I want to assume she was bipolar, or she was suffering with bipolar. Don't quote me on that. Her neighbors revealed that before she passed, her father used to stay with her, not really stay with her, that the father used to come from time to time to check up on her. That is whenever she had the mental episode. Now, her father had long passed, but before her father died, the man used to come check up on her, console her, hold her down, take her for therapy, and just help her get better to, doing normal things. But after her father died, it became very difficult for her to manage that condition. Her younger brother was said to have also lived with her at a certain time in her life. So maybe when the brother was living in her house, he too used to assist her whenever the episode comes around. But her brother eventually got married and moved to his own apartment, leaving her alone in that big house all by herself. Which would mean whenever the mental situation comes or whenever the mental episode happens, she is left to manage it by herself. But her neighbors have confirmed that whenever they notice her in that mental state, they used to call her sister. And her sister would come from time to time to check up on her. And when they spoke to the security man of the compound, he also confirmed that yes, she did have a mental disorder. And whenever the mental episode happens, she will start wandering around aimlessly, and whenever they try to stop her, she would resist. Everyone in her compound know about her mental state. They know that she was having a psychological problem. And they stated it clearly that whenever it happens, they call her family members and they come to help her out. With these details, it's very clear that her depression had nothing to do with having a man or having children. If anything, the condition she had was what prevented her from engaging in a serious relationship with any man. Because even as she is at 45, there would still be men who would want to marry her. She was financially well-to-do. Sex wouldn't have been her problem. She had the money to buy it. And I'm sure if she wanted children, she would have had one herself. She did not need to get married to anybody to have children. She can adopt. She has the money for it. But yet, she stated clearly that she cannot bring someone into her own life when she knows she can't take care of herself. And obviously, it will make more sense that because of her mental health that she cannot manage by herself, she didn't want to burden anyone, which would mean maybe that is why she ended her relationship with other people, because she was afraid that they would see that part of her. All the people that used to help her manage that condition are mostly not available as they used to be. Her father was a very big help in her life, but ever since the man passed, she was left by herself. And obviously, her siblings would have to focus on their life at some point. So she knew for a fact that her mental condition was a problem that may have hindered her from doing a lot of things that she would have wanted to do. Now, just for clarity, her family members have not confirmed her mental state. In fact, according to the source, according to Vanguard, when they reached out to her family for comments, they declined to make comments regarding her mental health status. Although the family had said that she suffered from depression, that she was seriously depressed, they did not exactly tell us why she was depressed. The family did not. It was her neighbors and the security man around the compound where she lived that gave us these details as to how mental episodes were frequent and they may have affected her day-to-day life. And like I said, I'm not a medical practitioner. I would not know what the mental condition was. I just guessed and assumed it might have been bipolar because I've seen a few people I know with bipolar and they do walk around aimlessly, and when you greet them, they don't respond. It's almost as if they are not there. They are just not present. It has to take the help of someone to hold them down and bring them back to reality. That is from what I've seen. So hearing from the gate man saying that yes, she walks aimlessly whenever the episode happens, I just assumed it might have been bipolar or schizophrenia or something. I'm not very sure. But that is it, guys. That is the details that is not being passed around regarding her story. I guess many people are just comfortable passing the notion that she was depressed and she took her life because she didn't have a man and she didn't have children. I don't know why people think that is a better story. I don't know. I guess they want to push more women into getting married. Depression is very real, but people suffer way more deeper than we assume. It's much more than what is on the surface. And mental health is a big problem. Mental health is something people don't talk about a lot, and that is because we all attribute it to spiritual something. We attribute it to witchcraft. Many of us still don't see it as a medical condition. They see it as a problem. And I'm sure that is why she most likely kept to herself. I'm sure that is why she did not, dedicate herself to a long-term relationship that would have led to marriage, because she most likely was worried about what her husband or her future husband people would have said about her medical condition, or even what her potential lover might think. There are so many people who suffer conditions that they are most likely ashamed of or afraid of what people might say, and it keeps them to themselves. It keeps them to keep it all to themselves without sharing it, and that is because they understand that people will not understand. Maybe this should be a moment for us to learn and be more open to the discussion of mental illness and encourage more people who may suffer from this kind of illness to speak up, speak out, seek medical help, and not be afraid to share themselves. So guys, let me know what you think and let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to share this video so more people will get the true information as to what really happened to Afolake Abiola.